What's up, loungers? I hope everybody's doing as great as I am today. Listen, guys, we got to talk about the Riverboat Brawl, okay? Now, because YouTube is crazy and they don't want us to be on code, okay? They don't mind when we fight with each other. They don't mind when we talk shit about each other. Like, as long as we're showing hood fights and all that stuff, they ain't got no problem with that, okay? But as soon as you try to show black people on code with each other, right? And show that black people are not the same black people that we used to be back in the 1950s, right? When we start showing that, yeah, they don't want us to show anything like that. Okay, we can't show us tossing a motherfucker in the river, okay? Shout out to Emmett Till for doing that on his sake, okay? Yeah, they don't want us to do anything like that, okay? When we start getting on code and when we start talking about code, yeah, they want to fuck with the algorithm and they want to, make sure that we're not getting this out to the masses, They want to make sure that they're not, that we're not talking to each other about these things, that we're not encouraging one another, okay? But today, we are going to talk about this because this is Black Lounge Divine, okay? This is where we actually talk about Black issues. This is where we talk about things like this. And I have had these conversations on multiple occasions in regards to being on code with one another. And I just want to let you know that I was very, very proud of what I saw in the video. Now, I'm not a person that, is going to say, violence is always the answer and, you got to be violent and all that stuff. And I'm not trying to condone violence and so forth and so on. But most definitely, violence is absolutely necessary at times, okay? Now, if it wasn't, there would be no such thing as war, right? But war is needed in order to regulate things sometimes. Sometimes you got to let a motherfucker know, okay, what the fuck it is. You got to let niggas know you're not playing with them, okay? And that's just what it is. See, in Alabama, it has been a history, and not just Alabama. It's everywhere in the U.S., but it's been a history of racism, okay? There's been a history of Black people being held to, hold on one second, guys. I got somebody at my front door, so I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick timer for y'all, and I'm going to go grab my front door. All right, guys. So it looks like I'm going to have to take my son to football practice because I don't know what's up with this bus. But either way, I'll take him to football practice in a few minutes. Either way, guys, I just wanted to give y'all my opinion of what happened. I thought it was excellent what happened. Okay. And like I said, it's not that I necessarily want to condone violence, right? It's not even about that. It's literally the fact that we have sat on this type of stuff for centuries, okay? This kind of behavior from white people has been something that's just been widely accepted in the US and probably everywhere, right? But particularly we're just talking about our country for just a second because the history of our country has been to suppress the truth about what has really happened in history, as well as to continue to oppress our people, right? And that has been a continuation over time. Black people have been scarred with the idea that white people are racist and that white people are against us. We have literally been scarred with this, where we have been taught by our ancestors and the older generations, that we have to be a certain way, we have to carry ourselves a certain way. If we don't, and even now we have to teach our children how to carry themselves a certain way around cops and just for the sake of being afraid that they won't make it home, you know what I'm saying, if they carry themselves a certain way around the police, right? Let's be honest. This is stuff that Black people have been scarred with over the years. So I've heard a couple of people that have said, oh, they're trying to make this about race and, it's not about race. Yes, the fuck it is. Okay. It is absolutely about race. And we need to talk about that. We need to be open about it. And we need to be unapologetic about talking about that. Okay. And the reason why is because we will never heal if we're not honest. So I appreciated the anger that came out of these brothers and these sisters, right? I appreciated them showing them the scars, showing them the pain that we feel, right? Every time one of you motherfuckers come for us or do something because you think you can, because you think you can get away with it, because it's been like that for centuries. Has been embedded in you, right? We got to be honest with each other about these things. We have to have these kinds of conversations. And these kinds of things have to happen in order for us to move forward. What we saw yesterday was only the beginning, of what we're going to continue to see. Like I keep saying, we are not the same Black people that were, centuries ago and that were, even decades ago. We're not. And the children that we're raising or the children that we have raised are not the same as us, right? And their children are not going to be the same as them. They're not going to tolerate racism. It's just not going to happen. We have been through too much. We have been too scarred. We're not even just talking about just chattel slavery. We're not just talking about that. That in itself, yes. But we're talking about even before then, right? We're talking about even after then. Everything that Black people have been scarred with, you must talk about it in the form of race and racism. If you don't, you're doing all of us a disservice. Sweeping it all under the rug and pretending that that's not the reason why this all happened. Yes, the other day. Sweeping it under the rug and just acting, like as if, oh, it wasn't about race, is doing all of us a disservice. It is. It was most definitely about race. And if you feel it wasn't, I want you again to take into consideration what Black people have experienced over the centuries. and how it is now embedded in our DNA to be cautious of white people. It's embedded in our DNA. These are conversations we've had to have with our parents, with our grandparents. These are conversations we have had to have with our sons and our daughters, our grandkids, some of us. These are conversations we have really have had to have in our households about being cautious of white people. And it's not even so much all white people, right? Yeah, let's have that conversation. It's not all white people. We get that. We understand it's not all white people. But we don't know which ones it is at times. So at times we might take it out on you because you did something to remind us that we have to be cautious of you. This is the painful reality that we have to talk about, that we have to speak on. But these things are facts. And white people, you have to bear that cross with us because of our past, because of the history of our country and what has happened here, what has happened in this bloodland. You know, I was doing a little research the other day on how students are taught in various countries, right? And it's amazing to me that in other lands, how well aware of racism they are in our country, even though they experience these things too, but they're aware of what really happened in our country. Like so much to the level that they know more than we do. Because our school books and our schools taught us, that the pilgrims came and, the pilgrims and the Indians, they all got together and had Thanksgiving and everything was lovely. We had corn and turkey and potatoes, and everybody was happy and everything was great. But in other countries, they know the massacres that occurred. They know what happened to our people. They know about the pillaging of our people. They know about the rapes and the murders. They're so aware of it all. And they're even shocked that Americans are so ignorant to our past. And it's because of what we were taught in schools. We have to have conversations with each other about the truth and about the history of our country and what has happened in our South, what has happened out West, what has happened on the East, and what we have really experienced, the native people of this land have experienced, and the people brought here have experienced. And the cautions that we have taught our families for generations and for centuries because of the pillaging of our people. Yeah, we can't blame just white people. I get that, right? Most definitely there were kings and provinces that partook in the Atlantic slave trade. I'm not saying that they knew, what was to come of it all. I don't think they had a full grasp of that. I don't think they fully understood what was happening, or what would come of it. I don't think that. But we must be honest, right? Because like I said, these things scar Black people. And it has brought us to this point where we're not afraid of you motherfuckers. We're not afraid of this shit no more. The whole gang life, the whole idea of murder, the whole idea of pillage, of taking, of abuse came from these people that invaded our lands. Let's be honest. This happened all over the world. It wasn't just here in the U.S. Let's talk about the Caribbean. Let's talk about South America. Let's talk about Australia. All these beautiful parasitic lands, paradise lands that were literally taken over in the abusive ways that it was. Almost to the point where millions of people were literally wiped out from either violence or disease. Just think of the magnitude of the abuse that Black people have suffered over the centuries across the world. And why we are angry and we're tired and we're not taking it anymore. None of it. None of it. No form of racism is tolerated. And even the thought of it, even if it looks like it, you just might catch one. And that is a cross that all of us have to bear because of our history. Is it ugly? Yes, it is. It's very ugly. But it's a fact. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on that and how proud of those people I am and how what we can accomplish when we're on one accord. And we don't have to be afraid anymore. Even in the thought of, well, you know, we can't be violent because they're going to think we're just too violent. We no longer give a fuck what they think. We're at that point. We don't care what they think. What they're going to do is understand that we're not tolerating it anymore, no matter what the fuck they think. And that's just that. Anyway, guys, I do got to go because I got to take my son to football practice. He's playing football this year, and he is not going to play with me. He is not going to let me just sit here and not take him to football practice. So I tried it, but that ain't going to work. I appreciate you, Pill. Salute to you. Appreciate you being in the building. What's up, my opinion? I appreciate you. And Clark, I appreciate you as well for being in the building. Beautiful Bernice, I definitely appreciate you, sis, for being in the building. What's up, Hood Conservative? Salute to you, and I appreciate you being in the building. Yes, they messed with the wrong niggas that day, okay? I'm just saying. If I was there, I would have got in that shit. On God. That white woman, shit. On God, she would have got that chair across her head. Wouldn't have been no problem. What's up, Darrell? I appreciate you coming in the building. Listen, guys, I appreciate everybody for coming out. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way out, guys, okay? And I will talk to y'all later. And peace, guys. Thank y'all for watching, guys.